Teen Tournament alumni back together again.
It's a little bit of like a Jeopardy bonding moment.
The first ever high school reunion tournament continues.
Deep breath.
Who will win the grand prize of $100,000?
Oh, goodness me. Okay.
And a spot in the 2023 Tournament of Champions.
I know. It's amazing.
Find out this week on Jeopardy!
Weekdays at 4:30, brought to you locally by North Star Mohican Casino Resort.
My thoughts on laser therapy to me is awesome. I mean, it really, really made a big difference. Every time I came here, I noticed an improvement. I mean, I was starting to do things that I couldn't do a week before, and so I'm totally grateful for it. Integrated Pain Solutions got me back to my normal trucking and equipment handling life. Thank you.
Straight ahead, a fire in Park Falls damaged a sawmill. We'll have a look at its wide-ranging impact.
Plus, a Wisconsin veteran killed in Ukraine is being remembered. We'll hear from his father about the war.
And an increase in funding is helping Children's Wisconsin. We'll have the details as your local news starts right now.
News Watch 12 with Dan Hagan, Jessica Jukic, and Conrad Sapinski.
Good evening and welcome to News Watch 12 at 5. I'm Dan Hagan.
And I'm Jessica Jukic. Last Friday, a fire at Park Falls Hardwood significantly damaged the sawmill there.
The business is closed temporarily, impacting a lot of people. The company is a big employer for the Park Falls community, plus other parts of the timber industry depend on it. Henry Schinnebeck is the executive director of the Great Lakes Timber Association. He says Park Falls Hardwoods is in the top 5 for consumers of hardwood logs in northern Wisconsin.
And that has an impact on the region because of the number of logs and the number of suppliers that bring raw material to that mill.
The association represents loggers, truckers, school districts, and more for legislation at the local and national levels. The Park Falls site purchases logs and saws them into lumber, but that operation is on hold for now. Schinnebeck says this won't help the supply chain problems the country is already facing.
We just hope that they're able to rebuild and salvage what they have and get the business back up and running again.
The hardwood sawmill has not followed up for comment at this time, but the company did post on their Facebook page, which says they hope to open their operation again as soon as possible.
Conrad, it was a sunny, beautiful day out there today.
Yeah, it was so nice. I was driving down, cranked my window open. That's how nice it was.
Yeah, it's bizarre, but it's a fall spring, right? We still have some snow on the way.
Absolutely. And then next week, unfortunately, a colder temperature trend will be in store. Taking a look outside, we do have some winter weather advisories. Not here in town, but just north, and same thing into our western counties, where we're looking at possibly 2 to 3 inches of snowfall, localized up to 4 inches with this one moving in. It's going to be a quick hitter, though. Starting to show up right now, just on the border right now of Minnesota and Wisconsin. That's going to continue to push up north and east, and it is going to be in our area early into tomorrow morning. It's going to last most of the day and then finally start to move out by the evening hours on Wednesday. Highs earlier today, check that out, 37 degrees. It was really mild outside. Our average should be around 31 this time of year, so we were all well above that today. Tomorrow, things are going to change. Right now, we are cooling down, still above freezing, hovering at around 35 degrees. Things will start to refreeze, so be careful out there, folks, as temperatures tonight will continue to cool off well above average still, but below freezing at around 22 degrees. Dan?
Thanks, Conrad. Governor Tony Evers today proposed spending $3.8 billion on building projects in 28 counties across the state. The plan will first go to the State Building Commission on March 23rd for consideration, though it would ultimately need the approval of the Republican-controlled legislature. 2 years ago, Republicans approved spending $1.5 billion on building projects out of the $2.4 billion that Evers proposed. In previous years, though, Evers relied on borrowing to pay for the projects. This time, he proposed paying for about half of the work in cash, setting the state's record-high budget surplus of about $7 billion.
A Wisconsin veteran is being remembered after losing his life fighting in Ukraine. Marshfield native and Afghanistan veteran Andrew Peters died in action on February 16th in Ukraine. Andrew's father, John Peters, described his son like any other average 28-year-old American and someone with a very strong sense of what was right and wrong. Peters told CNN's Wolf Blitzer Monday night that his son was warned by Ukrainian commanders that Russia's invasion resembled World War I or II before he joined the International Legion of Defense.
I still remember one of the times he called and he said, "Dad," he said, "you cannot imagine the amount of destruction and suffering that's going on over here. What you see on TV does not do it any justice."
The International Legion was created by Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky to allow foreign citizens to join the resistance against the Russian occupants and fight for global security, according to its official website. Peters is the latest of at least half a dozen Americans to have died fighting in Ukraine.
The state's Department of Workforce Development today announced Wisconsin has achieved a state record of nearly 16,000 apprentices during 2022. The record high total of 15,937 apprentices in 2022 topped the previous record set in 2001. The growth in apprentices is thanks to expansion in construction, manufacturing, IT, and healthcare. The DWD added 7 new registered apprenticeship pathways in 2022, including ones for diesel technicians, supply chain specialists, lab medical technicians, and human resources specialists. This expansion will continue in 2023, with plans to add 6 new pathways in healthcare, transportation, and service. The Wisconsin Department of Children and Families' 5-year child abuse and neglect prevention plan was approved back in December.
The plan focuses on supporting children and families in their homes. Newswatch 12's Nick Van Zyl joins us in studio and has more. Nick.
Thanks, Jessica. The Child Abuse and Neglect Prevention Plan funds home visiting programs in our area, and I talked with Children's Wisconsin to learn more about the home visiting program.
We've been in these communities for 20 years, and people still don't know about us.
Children's Wisconsin serves 5 counties in our area with their home visiting program.
Evidence-based program called Parents as Teachers. We believe that parents are the first teachers. So we don't come in as experts about your child. You're the expert on your child. What we want to do is enhance your abilities to parent and support you and advocate for you.
Home visitors like Melissa Enders receive referrals and reach out to expecting parents or already parents about the program. She helps with developmental screenings and common questions from parents.
If their child is hitting the milestones that they think that they need to hit, but there's a very important thing to remember. Every child develops differently, and every child develops on their own.
Workers typically visit the child's home as it is where the family is most comfortable, but families can come into any of the 3 locations in Antigo, Merrill, or Rhinelander.
We do have parents that come in and, you know, the hour goes by that they don't really want to leave.
Home visitors provide more than just developmental screenings. The program provides parents or expecting parents supports like transportation to and from appointments, connections with other parents, and practical parenting tips.
So we encourage dads, other moms, everybody to be a part of the home visit. It's not just for the mom.
Serving children and their families in their homes is exactly what the state is focusing on with their Child Abuse and Neglect Prevention Plan, and home visiting is doing just that.
Thank you, Nick. Sore muscles can make it harder to work out. In tonight's Feel Great, we're explaining how to reduce soreness.
And flooding was causing issues in southern Wisconsin earlier this week. We'll have the details after Weather with Conrad right here on Newswatch 12.
The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is here and ready to help. Anyone in Wisconsin can call, text, or chat to get connected to a trained 988 counselor. Trained counselors are here to support anyone experiencing a suicidal, mental health, or substance use crisis. You can also contact 988 if you're concerned about someone. 988 is confidential and free to all Wisconsin residents. 988 24/7. Call, text, chat. Here to support you.
Carpet City. Uh-oh. Did your holiday hosting create a couple extra stains in your carpet? Or do you just need an update for your old flooring? Come to Carpet City Flooring Center and start your year off right with free carpet installation. That's right, free carpet installation. If money is a little tight, Carpet City Flooring Center can help make your project affordable with interest-free financing. Get your free carpet installation today.
Carpet City, our prices will floor you. convicted felon kidnapped and raped a 15-year-old girl, abducting her off the street in broad daylight. Judge Janet Protasewicz could have sentenced him to 20 years. Instead, she put him back on our streets.
What detractors would say is you having been soft on a violent sexual crime.
I would say that that's ridiculous. Judge Protasewicz puts our families at risk, and putting her on our Supreme Court, that's what's ridiculous. Fair Courts America is responsible for the content of this advertising.
It's Auto Show. The deals start now, and so should you. Get started on your next Ford SUV, like Bronco, Explorer, or the new Escape. Get here to get a deal on the SUV's #1 in brand loyalty. It's Auto Show. The deals start now, and so should you. During Auto Show, choose FlexBuy on Escape, Edge, or Explorer with 3.9% APR financing for 66 months plus 1,000 Auto Show cash.
Welcome back, folks. All right, take a look behind me. This is a shot from downtown. It looks beautiful. We have lots of sunshine, temperatures in the mid to even upper 30s, and there's barely any snow showing up here. It really looks like a spring day. The roads are cleared up as most of that snow did melt away, but don't get fooled. We have around 20 inches of snowfall on the ground right now. We're going to be adding a little bit more into tomorrow. This is our next low pressure system right about the border of Minnesota and Wisconsin right now. So it is starting to develop. It's going to continue to develop as it pushes north and east. Those darker blue colors, that's more of a moderate snow. This is going to be a quick mover. We're looking at possibly around 2 to 3 inches of snow. All right, so by tomorrow morning, looks like that snow will be moving in. Overnight tonight, couple of lingering flurries, but tomorrow morning around 8, 9 a.m., that's when that heavier snow moves in, the moderate snow, I should say, and then lasting throughout most of the day on Wednesday before clearing out really in the evening hours on Wednesday. So by Thursday, we finally dry out. We're going to stay dry for several days starting Thursday. It's going to look much, much nicer. Models are indicating around 2 to 3 inches of snow. That's exactly what we're thinking. 2 to 3 inches. Some isolated spots will have around 4 inches, especially a little bit up north, and same thing in our western counties. Here in town, though, we're looking at possibly around 2 to 3. There are some warnings and even some advisories out. There are some warnings in North Dakota, just in the western side of Minnesota, and then the rest of these are winter weather advisories. And same story here into our state. Vilas County and also into the UP, there are some winter weather advisories. Here in town, though, no advisories have been posted, so we'll see if that does get posted in the next several hours. But with 2 to 3 inches of snow, maybe not. But just our western counties definitely have some winter weather advisories, around 2 to 4 inches possible there. Winds will also start to increase, folks, so get ready. This will be more of a wetter snow as well, so it's not really going to be blowing around like that snowstorm we had last week with all that light, fluffy snow blowing around and causing some pretty high snow drifts out there. Temperatures are starting to warm up. Look at all this red showing up. We haven't seen this in a very long time, really making its way up north. Chicago even was in the 50s earlier today. Same story yesterday, and we were only in the 30s, so big difference there. Same thing into the East Coast. Washington, D.C., close to 70 degrees earlier today. New York City only in the mid-30s with a couple of flurries. So lots of differences with the temperatures. Tonight, though, temperatures will be cooling off, hovering around 22 degrees. We're looking at snow showers moving in late, more flurries, and then late tonight into those early morning hours. That's when the snow starts to pick up. Tomorrow, we're looking at temperatures slightly below freezing, so whatever will be falling will be sticking. Roads will be in pretty poor shape. We're looking at around 2 to 3 inches here in town. Isolated spots of around 4 inches. Our 7-day outlook brought to you by Northwoods Furniture and Mattress does show a nice look in several days. Look at the weekend, mid to upper 30s ahead of another snow event by Monday. Dan?
Thanks, Conrad. Well, we were getting snowed on for much of yesterday. In the southern part of the state, heavy rainfall caused problematic flooding. Allison Bruner is in West Dallas with more.
We are near South River Route Parkway and West Cleveland Avenue in West Dallas. We just saw a tow truck driver trying to get these cars out of the water, but he told neighbors here he couldn't get those cars out because the cars were flooded and their emergency brakes were on. I talked to people in the area who say this amount of flooding is unusual. but flooding is common.
This is more than usual. I think it's probably because of the snow and the rain this time.
It's pretty crazy, honestly. I think the fact that you can't even see the difference between the street and just like the grass and everything is it's really insane.
To put this into perspective for you, this area saw about an inch to an inch and a half of rain in a 6-hour period. That is a lot of rainfall. Also, keep in mind that the ground here is still frozen, leaving that water nowhere to go.
The Wisconsin Assembly's Higher Education Committee wants to limit future tuition increases to no more than the rate of inflation. The proposal would prohibit the UW Board of Regents from increasing in-state undergraduate tuitions and fees by more than the previous year's rate of inflation. GOP lawmakers froze in-state undergraduate tuitions in 2013, but lifted the freeze in 2021, allowing the regents to raise tuition if they chose to. The board hasn't made any increases since the freeze was lifted, relying on federal pandemic relief to cover costs. But Governor Tony Evers' budget would leave the system about $130 million short of what they would need to run their campuses over the next 2 years.
The Supreme Court is hearing arguments over President Biden's student debt relief program. The plan would forgive up to $20,000 in debt for 40 million Americans, but it was put on hold by lower courts before any forgiveness was granted. One of the key issues is whether the Biden administration has the power to cancel about $400 billion in debt. Chief Justice John Roberts questioned why that wouldn't be a job for Congress.
Most casual observers would say if you're going to give up that much amount of money, if you're going to affect the obligations of that many Americans on a subject that's of great controversy, they would think that's something for Congress to act on.
The Biden administration argues it has the power to cancel federal student loan debt under the 2003 HEROES Act. The law says the Secretary of Education has the power to waive or modify a federal student loan program to ensure individuals are not in a worse position financially because of a war, other military operation, or national emergency. In this case, that would be the pandemic.
Muscle soreness can put a damper on a workout, but taking steps after a workout can prevent soreness before it begins. In tonight's Feel Great Today, I spoke to an athletic trainer about the benefits of using different techniques to stay strong.
Feel Great Today with Jessica Jukic.
Our muscles work at a specific length. So if we're stretched too far, right, because you can stretch too far, those can't grip, and so we're not as strong.
Ashley Rotier works as an athletic trainer for Aspirus Northland Orthopedics and helps student athletes at Northland Pines High School.
Sometimes we can get sore, tight muscles, things like that, and then that could potentially prevent them from, practicing the next day or maybe even playing in their games.
Rotier uses different techniques after practice like foam rolling, cupping, and stretching to prevent tight muscles.
So we're getting blood flow to the muscles and we're heating the muscles up so that they're more pliable. So I like to use the analogy of a muscle being like silly putty. So when it's cold, it's really hard. If you tried to bend it, it would break, versus if it's nice and warm, it's nice and pliable and you can stretch it.
She watches athletes stretch and makes sure they are using the correct form. Rotier says playing different sports puts more stress on different parts of the body. Her job is to identify any issues and help correct them to increase flexibility.
We might focus on that certain area, but it's also individualized. So, I might have one basketball athlete that, is having trouble with their calves or their foot. We might focus more on that area.
She says warming up and stretching after exercise can help prevent sports-related injuries.
I like to utilize those tools and those aspects to help my student athletes be able to be the best that they can be in their sport.
Thanks for the insight. Next Tuesday night, we will talk about what athletic trainers do and how they keep students safe during games.
Coming up, we'll learn about how a car dealership stepped in to help a woman who was bullied at another dealership. We'll be right back.
There are never enough hours in the day. I'm always making trade-offs, sacrifices. But I'll keep going. even when it feels like there's no way I can do it all. I won't give up. I'm doing this for me and for them. We're doing this together. North Central Technical College's virtual college. Flexible learning, because our time is precious.
Where will your new Chevy take you this year? Anywhere. Find new experiences. Find new roads. Get 2.99% financing for 5 years on all 2022 Silverado 1500 pickups, or get $1,250 cash allowance on this Silverado with a 2.7-liter engine. Plus, current Chevy owners get an additional $3,250 total cash allowance.
Dan Kelly won't keep our community safe. As a lawyer, Kelly defended child sex predators who posed as ministers in order to prey on vulnerable young girls. They lured young children to locations they believed to be safe, only to sexually assault and molest them. And Dan Kelly defended those monsters. Do you want someone like that on the Supreme Court? Dan Kelly, an extremist who doesn't care about us.
The unknown is not empty. It's a storm that crashes and consumes, replacing thought with worry. But one thing can calm uncertainty: an answer, uncovered through exploration, teamwork, and innovation. An answer that leads to even more answers. Mayo Clinic. You know where to go.
A hiring event will be taking place in Wausau that is sure to attract thousands. The 2023 Greater Wausau Youth Hiring Career Fest will be taking place at Wausau West High School from 8 to 3 on Thursday. The event is being put on by the Boys and Girls Club, DC Everest School, Wausau School District, and the United Way of Marathon County. More than 100 businesses and community organizations will attend, and over 2,000 students will be participating to give opportunities to students for career development.
A bridge was closed for a short period of time last weekend after a snowmobile went into a waterway right here in Rhinelander. The snowmobile went into the water near the bridge on County Highway W. The bridge was shut down for a short time while Bulldog Off-Road Recovery worked to pull out the sled. According to the recovery service, the driver was following several snowmobiles to a place to eat when they went in. They were, however, able to get the sled running a few hours after pulling it out of the water. A video that many are calling disturbing is going viral on social media.
It allegedly involves a car salesman accused of defacing a Wisconsin woman's driver's license after she left the dealership without buying a car. Jenna Wells tells us what a different car dealership did to help.
The woman's post says she went to look at a car and chose not to buy it. She says she drove home to Waukesha and accidentally left her ID at the shop. A few hours later, someone messaged her on Instagram, warning her of the disturbing Snapchat video. She says they sent her the video, which went viral on Sunday. We reached out to the poster and NH Auto Sales. We haven't heard a response. Kenosha police say they're investigating and want to pursue charges. Meanwhile, a different nearby car dealership is reaching out to help after they became involved as well.
On my way to work, I was like, I need to find a way to turn this into a positive for her, for us, for everybody.
Joe Green owns Budget Motors of Wisconsin in Caledonia. After the post went viral, he says NH Auto Sales changed their name on Google to Budget Auto, which caused Budget Motors to get a slew of bad reviews from people mistaking them for the other dealership. On Monday, Green posted on Facebook clarifying the mix-up and offering the woman a free car from his dealership. Green says he hopes this shows there are good people in the used car industry and in the community.
Hopefully this makes up for it. Hopefully everything turns out okay. And hopefully things die down. There's a little justice involved there too.
Been daydreaming of campfires or time on the water? Start your summer plans by joining Schroeder's RV and Marine at their 28th annual open house, March 31st, April 1st, and 2nd.
They have over 300 boats and campers available. Shop the best deals on the best brands at the biggest RV and marine dealer in the Northwoods. Join us at Schroeder's RV and Marine for the 28th Annual Open House, March 31st, April 1st, and 2nd. See you there.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? At Wausau Weight Loss, we know the secret. Our unique doctor-supervised program makes it easy to lose weight, get healthy, and get your energy back safely, naturally, and effectively. If you'd love to lose unhealthy fat without counting points or calories, no exercising, no prepackaged meals, no HCG, no drugs, no hypnosis or surgery, call Wausau Weight Loss today at 715-203-8695.
Hi, I'm Janelle. I've lost 70 pounds in 30 inches. I know the secret. I feel great now after losing the 70 pounds. I can do stairs. I don't have pain through the day, through the night. As a breast cancer survivor, I knew I needed to lose the weight to prevent future health issues. I feel great, living each day with hope for my future.
For your free private weight loss consultation, call Wausau Weight Loss today at 715-203-8695. WeKnowTheSecret.com.
Look at that. What you're seeing is Olson Solar Energy working in the sun to make the sun work for you. What you can't see are the lower or no energy bills, selling extra energy back to your electric company, and the increase in property value without an increase in property taxes. The sun works for homes and businesses. The only thing you need is Olson Solar working in the sun to make the sun work for you. Now booking installations for 2023. Call Olson Solar Energy today.
Are you tired of washing dishes? Well, flip the way you clean them with Dawn Platinum Easy Squeeze. It's an upside-down bottle with no cap. You just grab and squeeze. Dawn Platinum's more powerful formula breaks down and removes grease 4 times faster. Huh, nice. No flip, no mess. Platinum is also a go-to grease cleaner for your sink, your countertops, and to pre-treat stains on laundry. Fast, easy. Dawn Platinum Easy Squeeze. Flip the way you clean dishes.
Well, Dan and Conrad, I went to the doctor's office today, always been 5'5.5", and today I'm officially 5'6". You heard that right. So we were talking about it, and now I can maybe be a WNBA player in the future. Okay. You know, if I keep this growth spurt up, maybe a few years. We said 2030 we're looking at.
That is a disturbingly well done Photoshop.
Well,
that
you know,
looks like you.
Dan, you better watch out. I might be taller than you in a few years.
In a few years,
man.
You could text me. Okay.
Speaking of,
well, we haven't even talked about your skills on the basketball court. I mean, you have to have
you know,
that.
I have to work on that. I have some time.
Okay, so
I have a few inches to make
So not
up.
only do you not have the height, you don't have the skills, but you know.
Yet.
Okay. Good attitude.
Things are going to improve. Speaking of inches, though, we're getting a couple inches tomorrow of snow, though. No growth. But yeah, we're going to grow from a little bit of snow, folks. We do have some winter weather advisories in the area, mostly in Vilas County, same thing in the UP, and just into our western counties. They have not been extended yet. I think they might not get extended here in town, but we'll see the next couple of hours. We do have some snow moving in. We're looking at possibly 2 to 3 inches of snow by tomorrow evening. Some spots will definitely have around 4 inches of snow before all said and done. Our 7-day outlook does get nicer, though. Temperature